When the last glow of the setting sun is swallowed by the boundless green wilderness, the rivers of the Amazon sink into an almost sacred silence. Beneath these pitch-black lakes stained by layers of humus, a colossal figure clad in metal-like armor hovers quietly under the water. It lacks the sinuous coils of an anaconda and the lightning speed of a jaguar, yet it holds a powerful vitality that has endured since the Jurassic period. This is the Arapaima, a river hermit that stands apart from modern creatures. Its greatest strength lies in the ancient tranquility it has preserved for hundreds of millions of years. It has no need for frantic struggles or fierce fights. It simply stays perfectly still in the murky waters, gathering the subtle energy of this primeval forest. For centuries, travelers who come to fetch water by the river often catch sight of this giant creature rising silently to the surface to breathe. There is no thunderous roar, only vast ripples stirred by its heavy tail, along with a long sigh that transports everything back to ancient times. Tonight, beside the gently flickering fire, let us follow this story and journey through its entire life. Feel the slow, steady pulse flowing beneath the turbid waters, and listen to the quiet confessions of this ancient living being. The blackwater rivers around Manaus are dyed deep inky black by accumulated humus, leaving almost no visibility beneath the surface. Dominating these waters absolutely, the Arapaima moves with remarkable restraint despite its enormous size. Its skin is a noble shade of dark teal, while the edges of the huge scales along its rear body glow with a deep crimson like the fading sunset, resembling an ancient bronze artifact buried in silt for thousands of years. When an Arapaima grows large enough to rule the entire river, it has usually lived in these waters in quiet solitude for half a century. It knows far more about humans than people could ever imagine, remembering every fisherman rocking wooden canoes and lighting gasoline lamps along the banks. Due to its unique physiology, it must slowly rise to the surface every dozen minutes, opening its massive mouth to silently gulp fresh air. Its slow rising and sinking is like a giant pendulum swinging through the night, stirring not a single unnatural ripple on the water. It waits with eternal patience, observing every moment of carelessness or weariness from humans, yet never readily unleashing its full power. For the Arapaima, hunting is never an outburst of rage, but a highly ritualized action that follows the laws of nature. When it targets someone bending down to fetch water on the bank, its enormous tail sways slightly back and forth, and the air fills with the damp scent of earth. During the gold rush in the mid-20th century, countless fortune seekers ventured deep into this untamed green wilderness. They built crude huts and searched for tiny grains of gold hidden in river silt along the waterways late at night, breaking the peace that had reigned over the rivers for millennia. On nights so quiet that only the chirping of insects could be heard, when heavy boots stepped into the knee-deep marsh mud, a pair of cold eyes from the dark water nearby had already locked onto the source of the disturbance. Hidden in the shadows of mangrove roots along the shore, the Arapaima sensed the violent vibrations caused by metal shovels striking rocks with its primal instincts. A young prospector focused all his attention on sifting sediment, unaware that he had stepped into the territory of this ancient ruler. The fish would wait until the hour when humans grew most exhausted, usually 3 o'clock in the early morning, when people were most vulnerable and distracted. It relaxed its streamlined, powerful body, letting the current carry its heavy frame forward slowly through the muddy waters like a submarine. Its head covered in thick bony plates peaked slightly above the surface, looking like a lifeless dark rock beneath the faint moonlight. The traveler wiped sweat from his forehead and let out a soft sigh, which became his last sound in this rainforest. People often misunderstand how the Arapaima attacks, imagining brutal, violent struggles filled with blood and fury. In truth, in the depths of the Blackwater, fate arrives far more calmly, carrying an overwhelming sense of gravity. Though it can strike with lightning speed, what follows is deeper silence and a slow descent into the depths. When it opens its giant jaws, it creates a powerful vacuum, silently drawing its prey into its mouth lined with hard bony teeth. Instead of lingering violently near the bank, it sinks slowly toward deeper water with its prey, pulled down by its massive weight. The struggle of its victim seems feeble against this ancient giant, unable to halt its descent in this grim yet eerily tranquil process. Its bulky tail occasionally flicks heavily underwater, churning up clouds of silt that veil all traces of what happened. From the surface, one sees nothing but clusters of bubbles rising and drifting silt that soon fades away in the current. The river quickly returns to its usual calm, flowing onward through ancient watercourses as if nothing had happened, with only time moving steadily forward. This hunting process, defined by immense weight, restraint and a sense of inevitability, holds a strangely soothing power, calming the mind and easing tension. From the late 20th century onward, large-scale commercial fishing brought the gravest crisis the ancient river ruler had ever faced in its hundreds of millions of years of existence. Prized for its delicious flesh free of fine bones, it became a luxury delicacy served in high-end restaurants in distant cities, attracting endless greed. Fishermen aboard motorized boats equipped with large wire nets and deadly spears began to invade this once sacred land. Since the Arapaima must regularly surface to breathe, the opening that sustains its life became a fatal weakness under the aim of modern hunting tools. Countless century-old giants that once ruled the rivers were struck down amid gunshots and heavy nets, their long bodies dragged away from the waters. Their habitats were destroyed, and their kin were shipped across the globe as frozen fish fillets. For the first time, this proud ruler felt helpless against human greed. Yet the Arapaima did not vanish. It demonstrated the incredible resilience and endurance forged through multiple mass extinctions across Earth's history. The surviving individuals retreated to remote, treacherous marshlands and stagnant waters unreachable by modern boats. They abandoned the fertile main waterways they had roamed for ages, dwelling in darkness to reproduce and wait, defying the chaos of the outside world with quiet persistence. In the totems of the Amazon's oldest indigenous tribes, the Arapaima is honored as the backbone of the river. Its constant rising and sinking is believed to maintain the balance of the land. Throughout its decades-long life, save for the brief sacred period of nest building during mating season, it spends nearly all its time in profound solitude. As the Arapaima grows old, the metallic luster fades from its dark teal scales, and the crimson markings on its body turn dull, like congealed dried blood. Its eyesight fades in the murky silt, yet its massive body grows even steadier and more composed, as if carved from the river itself. It lingers more often among sunken ancient tree trunks on the riverbed, letting the slow current carry silt across its tough scales. It cares little for how humans define it, whether as an endangered living fossil or a fearsome predator. These are merely different facets of its natural journey through aging. On a late rainy season night as the river water began to recede, the elderly Arapaima felt the steady beat of its ancient heart growing weak. It showed no panic or struggle. Guided by the pull of the water, it moved toward a hidden hollow deep in the jungle with the slowest, gentlest strokes of its life. It stretched its huge body out on a soft bed of moss and fallen leaves. One last slow sweep of its broad tail stirred up fine sediment, which settled gently over its massive form. The veil of night gradually lifts, and the deep indigo sky softens into pale translucent gray. The Arapaima that wandered the turbid waters all its long life has now become one with the Amazon riverbed. It takes with it all ancient legends and whispers, leaving behind a stretch of still dark green water for the waking rainforest. Over this long immersive tale, we followed its hypnotic rhythm of movement, experiencing a journey of seclusion, perseverance and the final peace of life. We come to realize that these legendary ancient creatures, feared for their strength, live far more gently and peacefully than people assume. Thick fog clinging to mangrove roots drifts away in the morning sunlight, while the ancient forest stretches its branches endlessly into the distance. The fire indoors has dwindled to warm embers, casting a reassuring glow. Dear listeners, this story of the rainforest's living fossil has come to an end. May your breath grow as steady and calm as the quiet river surface, drifting gently into the sweetest dreams. Good night.